You guys figured out where Beebs will throw tomorrow?
Have we? In Lake County. Beebs will throw in Lake County tomorrow.
3 innings, 40.
Yeah,
pitches.
three. The next step up, 3 innings, 40-ish, 45. Yeah, it's good to see him. It's good to have Beebs back in the building.
What do you think his presence does just for the younger pitchers, just the guys that have, guys that have started a couple games, guys that know who he is and see him in the locker room? What does that do?
It's great. It gives you someone to bounce ideas off of, bounce thoughts, experiences, things that he can, they're having a question about a certain account or a certain situation. What do you think? What do you do? So I think anytime you have someone like Shane Bieber in your clubhouse, you get better. And he's such a good teammate. He cares about the guys so much, and he just brings energy just by having him around.
I know he's got a few steps, obviously, but can you start to feel like the anticipation and like kind of the light towards the end of the tunnel of this for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime he's thrown in real games, you're on a progression, so it's exciting. And again, we take it one day at a time with all of our rehab guys, especially coming back from UCL surgery. So for Shane, it's check the box today and then go get it tomorrow.
How far along where's Arias on just his rehab?
Yeah, he's a couple games in, so he's feeling really good. So we should, if everything goes well, it should be back pretty soon. So we're excited. Gabby's feeling good, moving around well, no issues.
How about Lane?
Lane is still progressing each day. He's done some baseball activity, but it's progressing a little slower than we thought.
We talk about progression of young players and just kind of seeing them go through different stages. And I'm thinking of Angel when I say this. Just sometimes you hear people talk about slowing the game down. What do you think helps take a guy from wide-eyed, happy to be here to I know what I got to do and how I got to take care of this?
Sometimes it takes a little bit of success. I think for Angel, it was kind of an up and down. He'd have some good stretches, but he's really been very consistent over the last month. And obviously the last 10 days have been even better for him. But for Angel, I think just the understanding that he's gotten regular playing time, whether it be he's earned it, whether it be where our roster is, but it's hard to take him out of the lineup right now. And, can't run him into the ground. There's going to be days where we got to give him a day off. But the way he's just attacking everything, he's working defensively at both positions still. And like I can't speak enough about how much he's been working left-handed. And we're starting to see that. And, yesterday the single was probably one of my favorite at-bats he's ever had left-handed. And, just ready to jump the fastball and didn't try and do too much. And you can definitely see the maturation right in front of our eyes.
So you relate to your playing days to answer this question. 10 days before the trade deadline, is it a nervous time for players?
Yeah, I mean, like we said the other day, it was every time this time of year comes around, there's rumors, there's people that are talking about who's going where, and no one knows. It's all rumors. So the best we can do as a player is turn off social media, turn off the news, turn off everything, and just show up and play. Nothing is within your control, and if you allow it to, it can be a distraction.
Do players come and talk to you, or
no?
The other day, I noticed
When Slade was going to go back out for the ninth, you and Bivey had looked like a lighthearted moment in the dugout. How do you balance Tanner's that competitive fire versus what's like healthy and best for his long-term career kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, Tanner and I talk all the time. We're constantly in conversation, and I've pointed out, I said, there's going to be times where you want to punch me in the face when I come to get you, and there's going to be times where I want to punch you in the face when I come to get you. But at the end of the day, I have to make a decision to help us win that game, and sometimes that means it's not going to be popular with you. But that's where the game will dictate, is this a time we push him? Does he have an extra day at the back end? All of those factors go into our conversations about how long we let starting pitchers go. What's the score of the game? Who do we have in the bullpen? All of those things factor into it. And no matter what it is, whether Tanner was happy, upset, whatever, mind you, we always talk the next day, and I give him my thinking and rationale for exactly why I came to get him at that time. And sometimes those conversations go a little longer. Sometimes it's a real quick understanding. But, yeah, I'd never hide from any of our players any move we make. Albie and I are always talking out why we're going to pinch hit, or if we're going to pinch hit, or defensive replacement, whatever it might be. We're completely honest, because if our players don't know why we're doing things, then they're not going to understand or believe that we're doing it for the right reason.
How nice has it been that really even before the All-Star break, your starters are getting, that you can have this conversation about all your starters?
Yeah, no, our starting pitching progression, we talked about Angel's, maturation. I mean, what a job Carl and the pitching group have done with this group of starters. It's been so much fun to watch them evolve and learn and grow. And it seems like every time out, these guys are they're attacking the strike zone. They're going right after guys. They're getting us into the sixth and even the seventh a lot. So couldn't be more pleased with the way our starting pitching has gone, especially the length.
Are you ready to change the name of the franchise?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to help win baseball games, Waynesy.
From what you saw from Sugano when you faced him, in fact, it was Bivey who matched up against him in Baltimore, to where he's at now. Have you seen any drastic changes? I think they backed him up, or you get a little extra time coming into the start.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. We know he's going to throw the split. We're probably going to get some chase underneath. It's inevitable. But for us, it's get him up in the zone. Be ready for when he does throw the fastball, and if the split starts in the right spot, it's hittable. So we have to have good at bats, try not to put the ball in play weakly early, and keep the line moving.
Have they changed much since they made the move with the manager?
They've changed a little bit of their tendencies. They're running a little bit more. They're trying to steal more bases. It's the same group. This is a very talented team. They're really, really good. We know we have our work cut out for us. They took 2 out of 3 from us at their place earlier in the year. As far as whenever I've played the Baltimore Orioles, it's been an absolute grind. Player, coach, manager, it doesn't matter. This is a really good baseball team, and that lineup's scary.
Yeah, it's back today.
Yeah, Gas was available yesterday too.
Craig, I always love talking to you about things that others don't see. And I feel like catchers see things that, like, we can all go to ball games and we just don't see certain things that you guys see. But I want to talk about Joey Cantillo. And we got a quote from Carl the other day. And Carl was like, I make it easy. I tell him right down the middle. And he said, I don't tell pitchers that, but his stuff is that good. Why is that?
Agreed. I mean, the biggest thing with Joey, one, is just strikes. He's been chasing that his whole career. But now with the ability for him and our catchers just to set up over the plate and just allow his stuff to play. He has 3 elite weapons, and then the slider is still developing as a 4th weapon. But for him, it's always been strikes. So now you get the hitters in swing mode, and that's how you create the chase. I feel like a lot of pitchers, young pitchers in particular, they want to, chase the chase. They want the hitters to expand. But the first thing you have to do, especially at this level, is you got to throw strikes. Because these hitters are so good, they don't chase. There's a reason why they're here. So for a pitcher to attack the zone and paint the white, the whole plate, now it forces the hitter to swing, and now it allows any pitcher, especially Joey, his elite weapons, to play higher.
You talk about those elite weapons. We see that change up, and the slow-mo cameras and everything else we see. The rotation is sick. Now, going back to your catching days, when you have a guy with that type of weapon, and like you said, he's got 2, curveball as well. What is the process of setting those up?
Oh, that's a beauty, man, and that's the fun part about it. But nowadays, with all the data and tech we have, I know it kind of gets a bad rap, but also it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. Like, what makes pitchers great, and the tangible piece of why their pitchers play well. So for me, everything starts with Joey's fastball. Like, Joey's fastball, one, has an elite profile. So if you look at it, like, on our scoreboard and stuff, it will say, 20 inches of vert, 19 inches of vert. So which means it's perception of rising through the strike zone. So now as a hitter, to cover that, you almost have to swing above the ball, right? So now if you're committed to swinging above the ball, now it allows that changeup to play even higher up, and the biggest thing with Joey's changeup is it's just his arm speed. It goes back to everything you've taught as a pitcher going in the Little League, is that you want to sell your changeup. You can't slow down and baby it. You have to throw it. And that's what Joey does really well, is that he literally just throws it like a fastball, and it's not. So it's even as a hitter, if you want to sit on that changeup, it's tough because you have to respect the fastball. And then now the changeup, you just the push-pull effect, you just can't cover everything. And then now you add that banger curveball to that. It's so tough to cover as a hitter, and that's why when he's in the strike zone, it makes everything a little easier for Joey and harder on the offense.
As you're talking about him, I'm thinking about Slade. And before I ask you about Slade, in you guys' role, as you sit with Voter every night and every morning, how much does it help you guys still believe because of what the starting pitching staff is maturing into?
Oh my, to me, it's everything. I mean, even if you look back at last year, like our starters were developing, and our bullpen was a force, so we had to use them. But now with our starters' growth and their development, alongside with our pitching group pouring into them and making great changes. I mean, you got, Slade coming in fresh from a trade and a blank slate and giving him some freedom, but guardrails of like what to throw and when to throw. And then Bybee and Gavin adding pitches to their arsenal. We saw it yesterday with Gavin. It's just tough to cover everything he has. And, you get swings like Rooker had on that strikeout, which is, if you watch, you're like, how does he swing at that? But if you watch how he was set up, it's tough for him to lay off that because you have to respect the 96, 97, one four seam, and then also the sinker. And then you add the cutter to that. It's just tough to cover shape. So with Slade in particular, he has 3 fastball shapes. He has the four seam, the cutter, and then he has the sinker. The cutter's kind of pulled off a little bit, but then he has the 2 breaking balls and he sprinkles in a changeup. The same thing with Joey. As a hitter, you can't cover everything. So by him just constantly throwing strikes and getting early contact, weak contact, it allows him to go deep into games and allows all our starters to go deep into the game.
You mentioned something that I love. This game is a big circle, right? At one time, everything was north-south, then it was east-west, and then everybody started swinging up, so we had to go back north-south. So how important is it now? We never talked about a guy having 2-3 fastballs. Mm-hmm. And Slade, I think Slade right away when he came over, he said to me, he goes, dude, my heater was getting hit so hard, I had to make my heater go a couple different ways. Yeah, right. How important is it right now for so many pitchers now to have multiple fastballs?
Yeah, it's one, if they can do it, 100%. And that's like the balance of everything, right? Because now if you're chasing a different fastball shape, right, so you have all your arsenal, and you don't want a pitch to take away from your ecosystem of your pitches, right? So if you're chasing one pitch, it might affect the others, and that happens a lot. But the way our pitching coach trained the pitchers, the way they challenge themselves, it makes it easier for them to throw multiple shapes and leaning on what makes them great. And for us, it's just allowing them to give the hitter a different look. It's not going to be the main event if they're attacking the hitter, but it keeps them honest. And then it might form into a main event pitch, but right now it just keeps the hitters honest, and that's all you can do. You want the hitter to make a swing decision early, and then once you have them guessing or committing to a pitch, and that's what our catchers do an elite job of in game, and especially the conversations in the dugout, is identifying that and then knowing, okay, he's looking for this, or he's trying to get on plane or timing for that. Now we have this open. So that's like the cat and mouse game with everything, and that's why our dugout conversations are paramount for our pitchers, and that's why our catches are awesome.
One of the things you've been able to do is track pitches and catch some and throw them in. And I'll ask you, how is your arm? Just in the overall scheme of things.
Yeah, it feels really good. Throwing out to 90 feet, just kind of following the program, but feels really good so far.
I feel like I should ask you that at some point.
Yeah, it's all good.
How hard is it to be a baseball player but being a one-arm baseball player?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's almost been a year now.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Like, I'm talking with Will Wilson a bunch. Our lockers are next to each other, and I'm like, hey, dude, I had your role where you play every position. You got to get ready to play third, second, left, pinch run, pinch hit, and so it's different not doing that right now. But cool being able to pinch hit whenever.
We'll get you back to where you're at. All right, let me ask you something. I overheard or heard a little bit about you catching or facing Joey Cantillo. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the cool things is about some of these young pitchers, they don't realize how nasty their stuff is until they do. What do you see when you have to follow his pitches or catch his pitches that make him have elite stuff?
Yeah, so he has 3 elite ones. He has 4. It's fastball, changeup, curveball, slider. And catching him the last couple of years and just in spring training talks, figuring out what's going to make this guy great. And we're just the more we're around him, it's just throw it middle. All of your stuff is amazing. It's that good. And I was tracking the other day in his bullpen, and a lot of guys, his changeup is so good, a lot of guys will look for it. And I was I think I'm going to look for his changeup. And he threw me a curveball. And I was like, man, I can't pull the trigger on that. Like, it's that good of a pitch to where I'm like, oh, that's a fastball, and then at the last second it's a curveball. And just like trying to like give these guys the confidence of, hey, you can throw your best stuff in zone and it's going to really play.
Does tracking help you for catching down the road because of that building confidence in guys?
Yeah, that getting to have conversations with those guys, and then just being around Bo and Hedgie as much as possible, of just staying ready for when I can catch. I mean, these guys are developing new pitches. They're using it in different ways. Like that way, whenever I'm able to step in, I'm not behind. I know what they're working on and what they're doing.